My name's Graham. I've been retired now for about 9 years, but previous to that I was a community nurse working in mental health services. I was diagnosed with type 2 nearly 8 years ago. My reaction initially was to recall that my mother was diabetic and her grandmother was diabetic. So the first question I asked was, could this actually be familial, or is it something that I'm doing wrong in terms of my lifestyle? I was told, like many other people, that it's a progressive disorder, and I just really need to keep taking the tablets. And I was given very little, if any, dietary advice. But because of my nursing background, I was aware that sugar was a no-no, but that's as far as it went. What actually happened was, one of my diabetic reviews, the nurse actually said, we need to put you on gliclazide. I was on metformin prior to that, and as a result I was actually given a glucose monitor and prescribed strips, and I was horrified to find that my glucose levels at fasting were as much as 10 and 12 millimoles, and then after eating, 2 hours after eating, as high as 17, 18. So this horrified me, because I did have some knowledge of the complications of diabetes, and quite coincidentally my wife Sue came across the low carb program. When I went onto the program, I followed it and I found it extremely informative, and then very soon found that my blood glucose numbers were coming down. And later on, maybe a month or two into the program, my trousers didn't fit me anymore. So that was quite a surprise. I hadn't really expected the weight loss to be so dramatic. Before I got the diagnosis of diabetes, I've always been active, and I was only about 10.5 stone, so a normal BMI. With the progression of increased doses of medication, I started putting a few pounds on each year, and then 6 years into it, I suddenly ballooned up to 13.5 stone. So it was fortuitous that we found the low carb program when we did, because the weight loss has brought me back down to 10.5 stone, back to my normal BMI. The forum for me is probably one of the main aspects of the low carb program. I like to read other people's advice. Some people put lots and lots of links to things like recipes and the sort of data that's around from the latest research. So don't be afraid to ask.